Faith, and I'm your other host, Grace. Today we're going to be talking about our favorites and our least favorite things and why those are favorites or not favorites. Before we actually get started, let's lay some ground rules. You're going to be reading them, but who is going to answer first?
You.
I'm going to answer first.
Yes.
And how long do we get to say why? Is it like a quick, rapid response of, here it is and here's why? Or is it like a, here's your answer and then you get 1 minute to say why?
Yes. Go with your gut instinct of who's your least favorite or your favorite and 1 or 2 reasons why.
If there are things like your favorite author, should we also give recommendations for what we like best about
Sure. It just
work?
can't be 10 book recommendations.
Well, yes.
Precisely. And anything we do recommend will be linked in we'll have it in the show notes. For everyone to reference.
And if it is a lot, we'll just tell you go and look at all of their stuff.
Precisely. Okay, so we're going to start with least favorites. I don't know about you, but I find least favorites actually easier to pick than favorites. So we'll see how this goes. All right, so least favorite author.
Oh, goodness gracious. Least favorite author. I'm really trying to think here. I don't know. Because there's really only ever been one book that I absolutely hated, and it was Oliver John, that stupid YA fiction.
Onion John?
Yeah, the name. Onion John. And it's the only one that I absolutely abhorred and never finished the book.
You hated that one more than The Robber and Me?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm really trying to think of my least favorite author. Okay, you go first. Give me some time.
My least favorite author. Honestly,
You said this was going to be easy.
I know! I said this was going to be easy, and now the problem is, I'm already see, this is why I said go with your gut instinct, because now in my head, I'm already trying to think. It's hard to separate an author from all of their works that I've read, so even someone like Mark Twain or Ernest Hemingway, we'll be honest and say that in my ranks of authors, almost every single British author ranks higher than American authors most of the time.
Okay, so I think I have my answer, but it's also a qualification, and not that this person is a bad author, but you know how much crap I give Charles Dickens, and that I don't like his works and how didactic of an author he was in the books that I have read. And that's the qualification is I have not read all of his works, and I have heard that his best ones from you are what? Bleakhouse?
Bleakhouse is my favorite.
Great Expectations. Is that a good one?
Great Expectations. So in terms of what most people read, it's probably they know of Oliver Twist, whether or not they've read it. Then it's Great Expectations and Tale of Two Cities. Most of the time it's Tale of Two Cities that people have actually read. Great Expectations is good, but my absolute favorite one is definitely Bleakhouse. I love Bleakhouse. And it's weird because one of my other favorites is Hard Times, which is incredibly didactic. But I kind of like it paired with something like Lewis's That Hideous Strength because they're talking about very similar things. His is just slightly more understandable and in your face. I don't know. It's
Dickens is more in your face?
Yeah. Well, because he is more of a didactic.
He's that type of author.
And he says what he means in not quite so flowery language.
I like how this was supposed to be me saying why he's my least favorite author, and it turned into you saying why you like him.
I do, yes. Anyway, continue.
So my qualification is I haven't read a lot of Dickens' work, but I never...
Sorry.
She just figured out who her least favorite was. But I never really fell in love with anything, and his characters were not easy to relate to for me. And I have found other authors who lived and wrote about similar things that he did, lived at the same time, wrote about similar things as he did in a way that I appreciate a lot more. So Dickens is one of those guys who I'm like, yes, if you like him, go ahead, read all of his stuff, have fun. I just prefer not to waste my time. And I use that phrase carefully. Mm-hmm. I don't want to spend my time reading it just for the sake of saying that I read Dickens.
The last thing I'm going to say about Dickens before we move on, though, is I think you should give him a try if you can find unabridged dramatized versions of his novels.
Because like audiobook versions?
Yes. Okay. But not just audio. I mean, audiobooks are good, but you need to find someone who reads them very well.
Oh, yes.
Because that's how he read his books, right?
True.
They were read aloud. Things come more alive when it's someone reading it aloud to you.
Oh, yes.
So if you can find an unabridged, dramatized, or very good audiobook of it, it makes it even more enjoyable. So people may not know who I'm talking about, but I was just thinking of my least favorite author that just popped into my head is Voltaire. The only thing I have read of his is Candide. And I hated that book. I don't know if I've ever hated a book as much as I hated Candide.
That is one of the books that you want to throw against the wall and burn, but not for the sake of, like, it's super convicting and that's why it's good. It's just because the book is crazy, insane, depressing, makes you upset and hate the human race.
Which is, you know, I've read things like Old Man in the Sea or Farewell to Arms or, The Stranger by Camus, and even the Metamorphosis. Like, all of those existentialist, modernist authors kind of fall into that realm of oftentimes their things end horribly and you don't like them and you do want to throw them against the wall. But I will say Voltaire's Candide was the book that I made it all the way through because I had to, but I did not like it. And so I'm going to say Voltaire right now, even though that's the only thing I've read by him.
That's also Voltaire, and that's probably how many of his works are.
So there you go.
That's a good answer.
Voltaire's Candide and Voltaire himself.
So now do we go to the favorites, or are we keeping only favorites?
What do you want to do? Do we want to switch back and forth?
It's up to you.
Oh, we should have played this ground roll. Let's just continue with least favorites. Least favorite card game. Mine is Go Fish. Actually, it's euchre. Mostly just because I have no idea how to play euchre. It doesn't make sense to me. I at least know how to play Go Fish.
Can it just be a game that's played with cards? Or does it have to be
I think it needs to be an actual card.
Because I was going to say Set is my least favorite game
No,
played with
Set
cards.
does not count. It's not a card
That's
game.
only because you love it.
But it's also not a card. It has to be played with a deck of 52 cards.
Chems? Chems is just kind of boring. It's one of those that you play with people who don't like.
Well, that's why I amended it to euchre, even though I don't know if that really qualifies because I just don't know how to play it.
Okay, so least favorite in the sense of it's not one that I would want to play all the time is something like, this is kind of a cop-out answer, but Solitaire is my least favorite card game to play in person with myself because it's such a process to set up. My second one will probably be something like War, where it's just boring and there's no strategy to it, and it's really just
luck of the draw.
Yeah, it's completely up to whatever cards you have in your hand.
Yeah, those games are like last resources.
Yeah.
Okay. Least favorite color combination.
Brown and orange.
So fall. No.
No, I'm thinking, what's the football team that wears brown and orange? The Oakland?
The only one I'm thinking are the Chicago Bears, but it's not brown and orange.
There's a football team.
Isn't it like the Tigers? Like, there's a team.
Shall I Google this?
Probably, because we're so bad at sports teams. Brown and orange.
Give me a moment. I want to say it's like Oakland.
It's the Cleveland
Browns. Cleveland Browns. Yeah. Here's the thing. I don't know why, but football uniforms happen to be the thing I go to decide what are my most favorite and least favorite color combinations.
Wow.
Because I feel like it's a very good example of a color palette in action. Right, because you can look at a color palette on a screen and be like, these colors look really great together. And then you put them on a piece of clothing or a piece of merchandise or in a logo, and you realize that really does not look good at all anymore. And that's why football is kind of my go-to of, what do I like and what do I not like? Because, like you said, brown and orange in fall, beautiful. Well, brown and orange as a brand color, someone had a really bad idea. Really bad day.
Well, see, like, you and I have had not so many, but we've had every single time, I think it's the San Francisco 49ers, right? Who, when they play, they wear the gold pants that on screen looks like flesh-toned. looks like the guys are wearing no pants.
I thought there was another team that's been doing that recently that
I can't remember if it's the Washington Redskins or if it's the 49ers, but it's one of those groups that they wear gold pants, and on screen you're like, this person did not screen test this color, because it literally looks like these guys are playing football with no pants on. And it's the most disturbing thing, and I do a second take every single time it comes back on from a commercial or anything, which, by the way, I also don't watch football at all very much. Least favorite. Oh gosh, this is hard, because to your point, there are colors that look bad together, but then when you add other colors to them, they all look good together.
Go with something like maroon and
purple. Like, there are some colors that look bad together because they're too closely related.
Yeah. Just get out of your artist's head like and all the shades and hues and just go with something.
Like a neon green and a navy blue.
Okay, that could actually look good together.
That does look good because that's the Seahawks uniform.
Here's the problem. You're trying to think of colors that are now on the opposite spectrum of the color wheel or whatever.
I just don't.
And they still go together. How about orange and red?
Orange? Like a bright orange, a bright red, and a bright blue. Together. In some situations, they can maybe look good together, but in general, it's not a pretty color combination. I don't know if it's my least favorite, but I'm just going with that right now.
Okay.
All right. Least favorite cookie.
Anything that's double chocolate. I do not like chocolate cookie batter.
I would have to say most of the double chocolates I've had, but also peanut butter cookies. Or like macadamia ones. I don't like cookies with nuts in them at all, really.
I will say the best cookie...
We're not going to best cookies yet.
Fine. I was just going to say there's one best homemade cookie I have ever had from someone else that I've never had that same kind of cookie again, which is why it's memorable. It's not like it's my favorite.
That had nuts in it?
Yes, that had nuts in it. Okay. But I say double chocolate because I don't like chocolate itself very much.
Or red velvet cookies.
I've never had red velvet cookies.
I've had red velvet, and I just hate red velvet. So basically red velvet anything.
Yeah.
Or lemon.
See, if I had a lemon kind of cookie or something that had lime, or like a matcha cookie or a macaroon or something, then I would probably change my answer. But as up to this point, it's just double chocolate cookies that I don't like.
Least favorite insect.
In terms of scary, I always hate praying mantis. Praying manti?
Mantis. I don't know.
Mantis. Whatever the plural of a praying mantis is. I do not like them. In terms of most annoying, I do not like bumblebees.
See, I think I hate, in general, small insects. I hate gnats. I don't like flies. I don't like sweat bees. I don't like little small spiders. I just don't like small insects that you can't see. Because I could see a bumblebee and I can avoid it, or I could try and kill it.
Then you're going to be really happy, because right now I think we very much have a fly infestation in our kitchen.
No, I know. I'm not happy.
We had like 9 or 10 flies hovering around our back door the other day.
It's awful. I like things you can see, because then you can avoid them, or it's a lot easier to kill them. I do not like small insects.
So, ants.
Yes, I hate ants. Because most of the time, the small insects like gnats or ants
are impossible to kill.
They are immortal things!
So you also probably hate cockroaches, right?
I don't think cockroaches are small. I think
they're not, but they're hard to kill.
I mean, termites and cockroaches are in their own category of disgusting insects. So I was just saying in general. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Your least favorite Olympic event? Summer or winter? I mean, like, both summer and winter, you can...
Biking? It's just boring. And it's hours and hours of I can never figure out if they're literally replaying everybody going down the same exact hill. And I never understand what's happening until someone crashes. And then I'm just like, oh, that looks so painful, and I hope you're okay.
Yeah, probably biking, because long-distance biking or long-distance track, basically. Because I can deal with a short bike race, and I like watching the short, like, 100-yard dash or hurdles, or even the only longer ones are the relay races with tracking that I like, just because, tracking with track that I like, because there's something actually happening. But yes. And if you were to do winter, what's your least favorite winter one?
My least favorite winter Olympic sport might possibly be something like the ski slalom. Is that how you say it?
Yep.
You know, something where it's just everybody's doing the same exact thing and you don't really know who's doing better, but yet somehow they know who's doing better. So someone actually did poorly when you think, okay, they still actually did really good on that. It's just really confusing to me.
Yeah. I don't really like snowboarding either. It's slightly more exciting.
In snowboarding, they at least do tricks.
Yeah.
On the slalom, they're all doing the same things.
Yeah. Agreed. Okay. Least favorite place to be alone?
In the car on the side of the road.
That's a good answer. If I were to pick something else, what would be like the weirdest place to be alone? At prom? Or like a dance? I don't know.
Oh, I'm thinking... I like how our brains think that. I'm thinking dangerous places to be alone. And you're thinking like this relational aloneness where you're at prom where you're supposed to be having fun with friends and you're alone.
No, I mean, I was just trying to think of a different answer other than just a place that nobody would ever really want to be alone, like in the middle of the woods at night, or although maybe some people would like to do that. Because all of those are dangerous woods. I was just thinking in general just a place that even because I could be alone in a movie theater. I would be fine being alone in a restaurant. I love grocery shopping.
Really? You'd be fine being alone at a really fancy restaurant all by yourself?
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily go to a fancy restaurant all by myself anyway. I don't know. I just don't eat out. So but I think I would be more okay with that than actually going to a place where I have to interact with other people in order to do anything there. I would I would much rather, especially at a large dancing event, I would much rather have somebody with me who I know I could dance with and just hang with versus having to ask and talk with other people the entire time.
Good
answer.
All right.
Least favorite street in your town? Or I guess in your count, I don't know. We could broaden this if town's too difficult.
I do not know the name of the road, but it's that county road that does the S shape.
Vestal?
No. It's where you go to the weirdest four-way stop on the face of the planet. Oh. And you take that first left turn, and the road snakes back, and then you go to that one really fancy house with the gate that you have to S around.
Yes.
It's so annoying.
I don't know what that road is.
I don't even know if the road has a name. I assume it does.
Probably.
It's just that one stretch of road right there.
That's a good answer.
That you can't see who is coming, and you're basically off the road.
Yeah, I was driving, not the S-shaped one, but the other one that you turn off Vestal on, where you get to the part where there's like the steep... It's got the steep down to the little... It's not really quite a creek, but you know what I'm talking about. And there's a guy coming towards me who's literally in the middle of the lane. And I almost run into a tree trunk because I'm trying to get over so far. Yeah. I don't think there are roads that I hate in general, unless they all have potholes. Like, what is it? 65 or something before. I think they've recently done construction on it, but it used to have a lot of potholes on it. I just don't like roads with potholes because I always try and avoid them, so it's hard to avoid them when they're like every 5 feet. It's very frustrating. But in general, I think there's just parts of roads, and those two I happen to drive a lot, and I always hate those two spots because it's just scary. All right. Least favorite subject in school?
Grammar, when I was younger.
I think it was spelling. Spelling and grammar.
Yeah.
I just didn't like them. They weren't fun. And then math for a short time when we were learning decimals. Like in the Delta. The orange books. Like, I hated math all through that.
Math was fine. Spelling was fine once you got the hang of actually memorizing the words.
And grammar was good when I finally understood it.
Which wasn't really until I was about 14, 15.
Yeah.
So yeah, grammar was my least favorite subject for many years.
Yeah. Least favorite time of day?
4 o'clock.
The afternoon slump.
Yeah, 3 to 4.
Yeah.
3 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have the same exact answers on me on these ones, aren't you?
I don't really know anybody who likes an afternoon slump.
I don't know either.
I mean, I guess maybe people who can take a nap during that time and actually enjoy naps. Or maybe people who are smart and have a siesta.
Yeah.
But for me, it's weird to think about how even if you wake up at like 5 or 6, the morning is shorter than the rest of your afternoon.
The morning is always shorter than the afternoon.
I wish the morning could be significantly longer and the afternoon could be like half as long. I'm weird.
No, this is why taking later lunches is sometimes nice, because then you feel like your morning goes until 1:30, 2 p.m.
And then you only have like 3 or 4 hours that you have to deal with.
True.
All right, least favorite type of food?
Seafood.
Oh, that's a good answer.
I always have the best answers.
I don't like seafood.
You have to have something different than me. Come on, think.
Can I go with... We could go with something like bologna or hot dogs or all of those.
The air quote food?
The air quote meats that exist.
That's a good answer. Yeah, you can go with that.
Yeah, if I'm not going with seafood, I'm going to go with more of the like red meats. I don't like pork. I'm not a big fan of beef. And then all of the quote unquote meats that exist out there as well. So here you go. There's my least favorites. All right, we are done with the least favorites. So let's move on over to the favorites. Do we want to go backwards this time and start with favorite foods?
Sure, and let's switch it up and you go first this time.
All right, favorite types of food. Oh, okay. If I could live on fruit and oatmeal, like if it were just possible.
And I can back you up on this and say that that's what you've said if you had to live on any food for an extended period of time since you were 16. Fruit and oatmeal has pretty much been your answer.
Yeah. I'm a little weird.
It's not weird.
Now, if we were to do a genre, I would probably say like Mediterranean food.
Food now has genre, people.
Cuisine. There we go. That's the one I was looking for. If we could do a cuisine.
Cuisine, food group.
Fruits are more like a food group. Cuisine is more of an actual like Italian cuisine or French cuisine. It's more of a cultural thing.
I understand that.
So yes, if I did a cuisine, it would probably be Mediterranean. But if we were talking specifically about types of food, it would be oatmeal and fruit because I'm weird.
You're not weird.
All right, now your most favorite types of food or cuisine.
Okay, so if I could just have watermelons and more watermelons, especially during the summer. Mm-hmm. It would be pure bliss because I always forget how much I love watermelon until summer comes around.
Eat it all.
I will fully admit that if someone cuts up a watermelon and puts it in a container and doesn't eat it right away,
80% of it.
I will eat. Well, because it's mostly water and you just eat it and you're like, this is sweet and it's beautiful and it's like, more and more. You can't stop eating it. Then I think my next favorite fruit is a banana. I love bananas so much.
Which is weird because you used to not like them.
And I still do not like bananas by themselves, typically. But I use them on, for everything. Smoothies, ice cream, oatmeal, cookies, you name it. I will put a banana into it.
Not everything.
Not everything.
Everyone, we understand the point.
But those are probably my two favorite fruits. And then, is there an actual food I like? Pancakes. I really like pancakes.
Basically anything you bake.
Pancakes, peanut butter, watermelon, and bananas.
Okay. So in other words, you and I apparently just like breakfast foods.
Right.
Nothing wrong with that. I probably would eat breakfast all day long for every single meal if I could.
Breakfast is the best because it's that meal that is so... You can do so many different things that qualifies breakfast that have the sweet factor, the savory factor, and they also get a ton of protein and different types of fats and carbs and all of this delicious food, and it's just, breakfast is beautiful.
It is beautiful. All right, favorite time of morning? Either early morning, so 5 to 7 or 8 o'clock. That's kind of generous on being early morning towards the later end. Or later evening, probably, which would be 7 or 8 to...
Grace, is this just favorite time of day?
Yes.
Okay, I thought you said favorite time of morning.
No. Favorite time of day. It's like early morning or later in the evening as it's getting... So basically dawn or dusk.
Morning. Just morning for me.
All right, favorite subject in school. Consistently, it was always English and literature. Was my complete favorite. English literature, writing... all through school was my favorites. And then at times I would have other favorite subjects. So I loved biology. I loved human anatomy. I loved algebra 2. So there were some that at certain times of school. And then when we got into the art classes, like, yes, I love those. And I loved history. I always loved history. But consistently throughout all of school, it was always English, literature, writing that were always at the top of my list.
Right. I liked those ones too. I think science and history were probably two of my favorites.
What sciences, though? Because
really the only science I ever hated was biology.
And physics?
No, biology was the one I abhorred. Physics, I made it through.
She tolerated.
Yes, it took me forever to actually understand how the math worked because I thought I understood it, and then they would give you the answer and how they solved the problem. And you're just like,
dumb.
Are you doing actual math or is this like carnival math? I don't know. Honestly, okay, so this just popped in my head when I said carnival math because what I was trying to say is physics math is like math put into a house of mirrors. So you never know exactly how you're supposed to use the equation to get to the answer that you need because it looks different in every single problem. That was my journey of physics and math.
Interesting. All right, your most favorite street in town? My street that I live on? I don't know. I don't really have a favorite street. I like driving. I think I like country roads in terms of favorite streets just because that, or if I'm actually needing to go someplace, a highway where I can just like put on cruise control, listen to a music or an audiobook or something and just not zone out because that would be irresponsible of a driver. But where you're not having to constantly go from like 30 to 45 to 50 back down to 25 or like, I just hate driving through towns if I'm having to drive, which is why I like country roads if I'm just going on a leisurely drive or highways.
This road I've only driven twice because it was a round trip by myself, but 23, Interstate 23, which takes me from Plainfield to Lafayette. It does have those moments where you have to slow down from 75 to 35 to get through a small town, but generally speaking, it's just you on the road by yourself going your direction. You can go as fast as you want, or I guess as slow as you want, but I prefer the
not really
higher.
There are moments you would get pulled over both going too slow.
Well,
and
except
fast.
that there's no one. Yeah, even when there's construction, there's no one, and you can still go as fast as you want.
All right, your most favorite place to be alone? Any place in nature.
Any place in general?
Wow.
My room. I like to be alone in my room.
I would be alone in a symphony or opera house.
Yeah, I would be alone in my room and in nature.
Okay, most favorite Olympic event, one for winter and one for summer.
Okay, we're going to both count down to 3 because I know exactly which
for
ones
summer,
they are. 1, 2, 3.
Gymnastics
and then
ice skating.
Ah, no, figure skating. You're supposed to wait.
Okay.
Gymnastics and figure skating, closely followed by
swimming for summer and volleyball. Swimming and volleyball.
Yes.
Specifically, I think I like beach volleyball better than indoor volleyball if we're talking about the two of them. But yeah, it would be gymnastics, swimming,
beach volleyball.
And
then figure skating. Figure skating and figure skating.
Well, I think it would be couples figure skating, then individual figure skating would be how I would go with those two. I think I like couples more. And then I would go individual. And then third, maybe something like the snowboarding, not where they just go up the slopes and do the tricks, but where they actually have to run that track. I think that one's fun to watch. But we just don't really watch a whole lot of the winter ones, so I just don't.
Well, we don't have cable, so you don't get everything.
I don't. Bobsledding is sometimes fun.
But it's also boring. Yeah. I can't stand to watch the racing, the ice skating racing.
Oh my gosh.
Because I'm always terrified someone's going to fall and slit the other person's leg open.
Yes. And we already discussed our somewhat dislike for skiing, so.
The only other thing I would say in summer.
I've never seen curling either, so.
I've seen it
once.
Or
I hate hockey. I don't like hockey either.
Or water polo. I don't like water polo.
Well, that's a summer one, but.
Yes, but I was going to transition back to summer.
Wait! Synchronized swimming.
Okay, thank you for stealing my thunder, because I was going to say we don't get to see them very often, but the other ones I love are synchronized swimming or synchronized diving.
Yes. Man, I was just about to say diving too. Okay. I'll steal your thunder way too much. So basically, I just like the Summer Olympics more than I do the Winter Olympics, except for I love figure skating. I love figure skating so much. All right. Most favorite insect?
I have my answer.
Butterflies.
They're pretty much the only one that you could like.
Yeah. Butterflies are leaf bugs. Probably butterflies just because they're prettier, but also leaf bugs are kind of cool and they're pretty harmless.
No, I have butterflies all the time.
I don't know. I think leaf bugs and stick bugs are interesting. But yeah, butterflies at the end of the day, and maybe prettier moths, not like the ugly ones.
Right.
All right, most favorite cookie. I don't really like cookies. Like, in terms of desserts, they're kind of my least favorite, but probably the Snickerdoodles ones you made those couple of times.
I'm a master at Snickerdoodle cookies now.
Yes, those ones are very good. Very good. Not the first time you made them, but
no, they were very good the first time.
They were good, but they just got better as you made a few.
Which is how everything goes when you
probably
bake it.
Those ones. I love. It's maybe controversial. I do love a really good oatmeal raisin or oatmeal craisin cookie.
Why do we even talk anymore?
Because we like the same things.
No, you just have zero taste apparently because you've never tried anything different.
What?
I'm trying to give you a hard time for stealing all of my answers. It's not really working.
No-bake cookies are also good too.
Sometimes.
If they're good, no-bake. This is qualified by all of these cookies have to be good. There are bad Snickerdoodles. There are bad oatmeal raisin. There are bad no-bake cookies.
Yes.
And when I say no-bake cookies, I don't mean the peanut butter no-bake cookies. I mean the chocolate no-bake cookies. Because the peanut butter ones are just bleh.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Like when they make them just with peanut butter.
Like a protein ball?
No, like they're peanut butter no-bake cookies.
I've never had one of those.
Oh. Well,
why would
you're
you
lucky.
do that?
I don't know. They're disgusting. I guess if you haven't noticed by now, probably I hate peanut butter cookies.
Like peanut butter.
I hate peanut butter cookies.
See, I put no-bake cookies. They're cookies, but I also kind of put them more into the protein ball category, which, for clarification, you've always been way better at making the no-bake types of desserts or things in general than I have. I'm much better at baking.
All right, so what's your favorite? Did I steal all of your favorite cookies?
Well, okay, so if it's a cookie made by someone else.
It's these homemade cookies that you mentioned?
Okay, so, no, that was a memorable cookie. It was a cranberry walnut cookie. I've only ever had them once in my life. Don't even know who made them at the party that I went to. And this is probably, I was like 13 or 12 or something, and so the fact that I still remember these cookies is saying something. Wow. So whoever out there made them, I really appreciate you. I ate so many that night. Here's the thing. You know, it was one of those events where our family didn't eat a lot of dessert, and so you would go and you would eat a lot of dessert. Mm-hmm. And I typically would pass up the cookies. But that night, pretty much the only thing I ate were those cookies. That's how good they were. Mm. And they were, I think they had cinnamon, too. So it was cinnamon, walnut, cranberry. It was really yummy. But I don't think they're my favorite. Mostly because I've never had them again, so it's more of one of those stories of, you know, tell me a time when you remember a food that you can still remember how it tasted and smelled. And that's my story. As for generic favorites, it has taken me a while, but mostly because I make them myself, I like Snickerdoodles now. Mm. Yeah, peanut butter cookies are okay, but they're kind of just peanut butter.
All right.
And anyway, so... And I like
So basically the cookies we make, most of them are good.
I don't like cookies that have chocolate in them. I like cookies that have fruit in them, which is very different than most of my other dessert choices where I say no fruit whatsoever.
Interesting. Can we both just agree that eclairs and things that are similar to eclairs are some of the grossest desserts out there?
I thought you were actually going to say you like them because
you
used to like them when you were younger.
No, I didn't. I never did.
Oh.
We all used to eat them, but you and I never liked them.
Oh, no, I never ate those things. I never, ever, 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 ever have eaten a puff pastry or an eclair because they are disgusting.
I'm almost positive that we ate them.
Yes, you did because Paige would get them and eat them, and you ate them with her. I politely declined. Okay. Which reminds me of one of the best childhood memories of dessert, which was the cinnamon swirl bread. cinnamon sugar swirl bread.
And Mom would do the melted chocolate. Oh, you're thinking the cinnamon swirl bread that we got from the guy at church.
Yeah.
I'm thinking when Mom she would toast the tortillas with cinnamon sugar on them and then have the melted chocolate.
Or we made monkey bread. Those are any dessert with cinnamon and sugar is to die for, because cinnamon sugar is one of those spice combinations that is just nothing beats it. It's so classic but so good. So churros. Mm-hmm.
I don't like churros.
The only ones I've ever had are the Costco kind, and I really want to learn how to make my own.
Churros. I don't like. Yeah. Cool. All right. Most favorite color combination. I can't pick one. Don't make me pick one, please.
You have to pick one.
No.
Yeah, you have to pick one. I will chop off a toe if you don't.
Wait, what? No. Do you have one?
No. You have to answer. Grace, your life is on the line. You must give a favorite color combination.
I'm just going to go with my bedroom thing right now. No, I don't. This is a cop-out answer, but I'm going with it because...
I'm going to make you say another one then.
No!
Just because of the fact that you said it was a cop-out answer, I'm making you say another one.
No!
Yes!
This hurts my soul!
If you say red and green, I will throw a knife at you.
No! I wasn't going to say red and green. I was going to go with like a neutral palette.
I'm still throwing that knife at you. Virtual knife. Give me a real color combination.
But it is a real color combination! I hate you. I hate this. No. Oh.
I don't think I've ever seen you this frustrated over an answer. This is amusing.
I refuse. I am not picking.
I don't. This against you now.
No.
So if I ever want to get you riled up, I'll just ask you, what's your favorite color combination?
I hate color. No. I hate picking color combinations. There are so many, and they all work for very specific things.
Okay, pick white and another color. Just give me a color that you like with white.
You just said I couldn't pick neutral.
White's not neutral. White is a non-color.
White is a color. It is a neutral color. It's a base color.
No, when you say neutral, I'm thinking earth tones here.
Oh, I was thinking like the beige, lighter tans.
That's earth tones.
White. And
white is not an earth tone.
Maybe throw in like an earthy, peachy coral.
That's a disgusting color combination. I'm judging you so harshly right now.
No, I have it in my head, and I think
give me a legit color combination that you like, that you wear or you use. What's the most common color combination you use in a journal with your pens? Do you have one favorite pen?
My light teal.
Okay, what's the color that you most often use with the light teal?
My gray.
I can see it in your eyes that you don't want to hurt the feelings of your other pens.
It's stupid, but true.
It's ridiculous. They have no feelings. And yet, I can see your soul being
My soul is writhing in agony.
It's like, but if I don't say purple, the purple will stop working for me.
Well, my light teal already has stopped working.
Revenge of the pens.
Where have all the pens gone?
They hated your favorite color choice.
All right, now it's your turn. What's your favorite color combination?
This is so ridiculous. My favorite color combination, I'm going to say a beachy palette, because I know the colors kind of change between it just being blues and kind of like really light purples and sand tan colors, and they also sometimes incorporate pinks in there too. But those are kind of my three favorite colors, is the lighter blue, the lighter blues, lighter pinks, and light tans.
So if I were to clarify and say that when I was talking about the neutrals with the white and pink, I was thinking Stesi's house. Does that make you like the color combination slightly better?
But that's not what your neutral tones were.
I was thinking her house.
Well, but you didn't clarify.
Okay, well,
you're just stealing someone else's color palette.
You
gotta make your own choice here, Grace.
I was thinking her house as reference, as what I was trying.
Excuses.
Anyway, fine.
Basically, you were avoiding an answer.
I was. All right, your most favorite card game. Most played card game, Hand and Foot, amongst our family. favorite card game. Honestly, it would have to be the Egyptian hand slap that we play with the Clantons, just because it is so funny.
It's hilarious.
It's just a fun game, and it cracks me up. So
I like that game, but I also really like spoons.
Spoons too.
I will. Yeah. Spoons or straws. It just depends on what you play it with.
That's a good game too.
Or pens.
Yep.
Just don't try forks. Just don't use forks or knives.
And if it counts, Deer in the Headlights.
No, it doesn't count.
Okay. I mean, it's a deck of cards. I don't know.
No.
Anyway, most favorite author. This one is going to be the closest I get now to having another time of agony, because I hate...
She's like, if I didn't say this person, they'll roll over in their grave.
They will.
They'll forever hate me, like they had any feelings about you to begin with.
Oh, gosh. I guess I have to go with Lewis.
C.S. Lewis?
Yes.
Not Chesterton?
No, I was just going to clarify and say Chesterton comes in a very, very close second, with the only difference being...
Pause. I will be gracious on this and give you a male author and a female author.
Okay. Well, I still am going to clarify and say that the only reason Chesterton comes in second is just because I've read almost everything by Lewis, and I haven't gotten there yet with Chesterton. And I love everything by Lewis. Love. With all my heart. Female author? I don't know.
So I have my female authors, so I'll give my female authors.
You're going to go with the Bronte sister, aren't you?
I think Dorothy Sayers is my top female author, closely followed by Charlotte Bronte.
Okay. I love Jane Austen. She's not my favorite. I love Dorothy Sayers. But again, I've only read her mystery series.
Why do you have to read so much? I have not read any of her nonfiction work up to this point, beyond essays, a few essays that she's written.
I don't know, because I just feel like in order to pick a favorite author, you should like almost everything they
But
write.
the reason why you even start reading an author is because you found one of the books and you fell in love with it.
I don't know. I just feel like I don't do them justice. I feel like I cannot judge a person until I know everything about them.
You're going to waste so much time in your life trying to like a specific person. You already do that. Why am I even saying this? I'm trying to give you counsel that you would never follow anyway.
If y'all could just see the goofy grin I gave my sister.
Because she knows. She knows I am right. She knows she will waste so much time in her life trying.
But if you would just spend more time trying to like people, you would be happier.
But here's the thing. People don't like me anyway, so why am I going to waste my time trying to like someone who I know would never like me back?
Because maybe you would become more likable.
But why do I want to be likable?
I don't know.
You're assuming there's a mutual discomfort in people not liking me and me not liking people, but there's not.
So you don't care that people don't like you?
I care that the people I actually like me back, which, as far as I know, is the case. I just don't care about people's feelings who I have zero control over those feelings anyway. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time, especially on a dead author, reading their work simply to say I like them when I already know I like them or don't like them. I could care less what they think, mostly because they're dead and they probably don't even know what I'm thinking.
Alright, so who's your most favorite male author?
Now you're buying time for the females, aren't you? You're supposed to answer first.
Oh.
You have to give me your females. So not Dorothy Sayers and not Jane Austen were what you said.
No, I hate you.
Why do you hate me? You should be hating yourself.
No! Because I hate that you have to make me answer these questions.
It's life, Grace. Life is pain. Anyone who says differently is selling something. Male authors, I would say Lewis is one of my favorites, but I don't like all of his works. And that's pretty much the clarification between me and you is you like an author, and that means you basically would recommend all of their works. I like authors, even if I've only read some of theirs. So Charlotte Bronte, if we're going to give recommendations, Charlotte Bronte, of course, read Jane Eyre, but she has several other novels that are really good. Dorothy Sayers, Lord Peter Wimsey, the mystery series. Read those. They are fantastic. She has a lot of other stuff that is really great. C.S. Lewis, my favorite standalone work of his is Till We Have Faces. I really love the Space Trilogy, and of course the Chronicles of Narnia are just classics, so read them. And then for another male author, here's the thing. I'm going to go with this guy just because I don't know many people who have actually read his stuff, but I've read every single one of his, and they're really good fictional books.
I just like to story it because I know exactly what you're talking about.
Wayne Thomas Batson?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Wayne Thomas Batson.
Followed closely by N.D. Wilson.
Yeah, but Wayne Thomas Batson writes for he started off writing probably for the middle school age, but then his newer works got into more high school age. And those are my favorite trilogies. But I think he has 4 trilogies.
He has the Dreamtreaders one.
He's got Dreamtreaders, Berinfell Prophecies.
Berinfell, and
those are not a trilogy. He has the King and the Sword or something. If those ones are his first trilogy.
Yeah, Dreamtreaders, Berinfell, and
The Door Within.
And then he's got
the Isle of Swords and Isle of Stars, and then there's like a tag-along story.
Yeah.
He has a couple tag-along stories to some of the trilogies. Anyway, I will forever love his fiction work and will read it no matter.
I do love N.D. Wilson, though, too. He's also very good.
He's good.
Oh, Andrew Peterson. His series, his
Grace,
4-part series.
You're giving me a male author again. You still haven't given me a female. Come on, represent the female side.
And this is where I feel bad because, honestly, I don't read a lot of
I knew you were going to say that.
Females. Other than the ones you've already mentioned.
And I will say, someone like Ella Montgomery or Louisa May Alcott, good writers, but are those my favorite works? No. Lois Lowry is probably another female author I would say is good.
I do like.
Okay, so she can be one of your female.
Mostly like The Giver. Or Madeleine L'Angles, she's also
there you go.
Kind of in there.
You've got 2. You've got at least 2 to recommend whether or not they're your favorites.
Yeah, I don't know. And a couple books by Edith Wharton. A couple.
I've read every Edith Wharton book.
I have 2.
They all kind of meld into each other at the end of the day.
House
of Age of
Innocence, and Ethan Frome.
So from Age of Innocence, there is still one quote that I will always remember because I loved it. And the quote was, "Love makes a Columbus out of us all." And it was beautiful. I loved it, and I wrote it down, and I still have it, and I will forever remember it. I don't remember anything else from that book, but that is the quote I know.
Yeah. There you go. I give you a few.
Okay, so like Grace said, we will link in our show notes some of the recommendations that we did or did not touch on in this episode so that you all can go and explore our favorites, and maybe they'll become favorites for you as well.
As always, check us out at Time to Talk on Instagram because we'll be posting this, and we'd love to hear you guys all comment and share some of your favorites and least favorites. We'll actually be listing what we read off for this conversation so you can answer all of them. Try it out with your friends too because it's really fun and definitely a conversation starter.
Whether or not you guys end up liking the same exact things too, it's still a fun exercise.
Clearly, and maybe you can watch your friend writhe in agony as they have to pick colors.
Yeah, find their pain point. And exploit it. That is my advice.
That hurt.
And then, of course, too, we'd really appreciate if you would subscribe to the podcast, leave us a rating and review. It really helps us to get out there and to meet more of you lovely people and have you join in on our conversations. But until next time, cue the cool music.